the expanding nature of Israeli occupation in Sri Lanka. Now, I no longer will be addressing this issue in Sinhalese because I don't think there's a point in trying to expose the reality to a dense audience when Sri Lankans, the majority of them, are stupid and so emotionally driven and politically dumb. They think Israelis are some, saviors, guardians of earth, but they don't see what's happening in their own country. Now, we've spoken about Arugambe, Irikatiya, Ahangama, Valigama, Ikkadua, Unamatuna, so on and so forth, and how these Israelis, these Zionists, are taking over the coastal line of Sri Lanka. But now it's beyond the coastal line. They're going beyond the limits. Now, yes, coastal line is a strategic point of every invasion that has ever happened in Sri Lanka. Israelis, they're basically following the footsteps of the former invaders by taking control over the coastal line of Sri Lanka. But now it's not limited to that. That said, I think it's about time that we understand that we cannot restrict their illegal activities under the name of one city. As an example, if we are to say that these Zionists do control Valigama, we will have to break it down. Just watch this video. And that is Goviapana Valigama. These Israelis are building a revetment in the coastal line of Goviapana, thus blocking the only access to the beach. Not only that, that is not the concerning part. Yes, the project itself is illegal. There are documents to prove this. The problem is, this is being built by a person who is holding a tourist visa. I've said it in Sinhala. The government didn't understand. I don't think our people, give a shit about it. They will soon. These tourists, Israelis who come to Sri Lanka, are building a revetment on the coastal line of Goviapana, and that itself is illegal. But the irony being, they are tourists. This is not the government. This is not the citizen of the country, but a tourist. That sounds like an act of terrorism, invasion, occupation. They are bulldozing and destroying the ecosystem of Sri Lanka. They have completely taken control of the coastal line. What is our government doing? It has been 7 months since that they have declared all Israeli buildings to be illegal, including their religious centers. With that, we arrive at our topic. The expanding nature of Israeli occupation that goes beyond the coastal lines of Sri Lanka. Why? How? Because we have eight recognized and identified Chabad houses in and around Sri Lanka. At least 6 of them are illegal. I know that 2 of them are registered under the Company Act, not the other way around, but 4 of them are completely illegal. We are aware of the infamous locations of some Chabad houses, be it the one in Arugambe, the one in Timbirigasyaya, or the one in Dehiwala, but it's not limited to these highly populated areas or famous locations. Now, we do have a Chabad house in Pothuwil. And you know what? It's illegal and unregistered, but is being protected by the police and the STF. I mean, I know the STF was designed by Ravi Jayawardena, who was an Israeli ass licker. But the thing is, it's not that time anymore. I mean, imagine that there are 6 to 7 existing buildings in Sri Lanka that is illegal, that is not registered to exist, but are being maintained and sustained by some illegal tourists who hold tourist visas, not the citizen of the country. They do not have residential visas to do so, not registered. But how hard it could be, how complex it could be to take actions against these entities. I mean, on one hand, we have some illegal tourists, illegal Israeli tourists building revetments on the coastal line of Sri Lanka. And on the other hand, we have the same illegal tourists sustaining and maintaining illegal buildings under the protection of the police and the STF. And what do we get? Parliament debates. Wake the F up and take some actions before it's too late.